Good morning, stackers. Here's a quick silver, gold, and platinum update with me, Joe Main, brought to you by Perth Bullion Exchange, perthbullion.com.au, and Mastering the Markets, masteringthemarkets.com. Let's do a quick synchronized slurp. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Slurp your beverage. All right, let's take a look at silver. I'd like to show you the quick macro view, of course. 45-year cup and handle. You know what's happening. It's going higher. But let me just talk to you about what happened between yesterday's live show and today. So we're currently sitting at, where are we? $36, and 33 US cents. We were up here. Let's see, where were we? This is where we were yesterday, hovering around here. So from this low and this high, we were talking about the zag zone, which we needed to hold. And if we didn't hold, I was saying then a potential correction of a larger time frame or a longer time frame, a longer move is coming. I was actually given an 80% chance that we'd bounce off here. Totally wrong there. So we did see a break through the 0.618 at that $36.50 level. So oftentimes failed move as a fast move in the opposite direction. So what we did then, because since we broke through there, and I did post this on the Gold and Silver Stackers Australia forum, I did post, because we broke through here, we then need to see where the next level of major support is that you don't want to cross below. So you take it from the next major pivot, and I'm going to suggest it's this one here. And all you do is you just move the zag zone, the expected support range, and you move it to the new level. And you always put it between the 0.618 and the 0.382 of the new low and high that you've sort of recognized. And that's the pretty obvious one right there, that spike down and the top there. So now, where did we come down to? Well, we're actually respecting, which is a good thing, we're respecting the bottom end here, and that's at around about $36.20. If you want to call it $36 to $36.20, that's your call. But you can see it's an area of where previous buyers, so buyers really need to step in anywhere here, and we'll give it a spike down. That's fine. You know, spikes are fine as long as we close days above the levels. That's fine. So anywhere there, again, between that 36 to 36.20. Is where we need to hold. Now, if we don't hold there, then we need to go, okay, we need to go back even further and find the next major low and high. Now, we keep the high, we just need to find the next major low. So what do I think? Do I think we bottom out here? I have no idea. I'm confident where silver is going in the long term, so there'll be a point where we find a bottom. Wasn't here. Is it here? Is it the next one down? I don't know. But we're going to $50 US. That's inevitable. We're going to triple digit silver. We're going to $700 US silver, I think, way down the track. Okay, 10 to 20 years time from now. But, you know, markets go up and markets go down. But let's posit what happens if we do break through that 36 to 36.20. Then we might be correcting, again, a larger move. So then we have to go, okay, what's that next major pivot point? Some would say it's here. We can do that one here if you want. So then you would take, again, this box, and you would, if it lets me do it, there you go. Again, so the 618 to the 382. And I do find this interesting. Where's that 382 sitting? It's sitting at exactly, what's that, $36, exactly where the buyers should be stepping in there. So that's interesting. So even on that longer term time frame, if the buyers step in here at that 36.20, very bullish, okay, really bullish. So now you've got the new don't cross below area of $35.25, $35.30 roughly. And does that match up with any longer term areas? Okay, it matches up well with the, it's not actually there yet, but you've got that area here of that 34.85, 35-ish kind of level when we broke through 35, and then that was a really good sign. And then if it doesn't hold that one, well, then you would say, okay, if it's not holding that on the daily, then you would take it from probably the next major point. You could say, I would say the next major point is there on the daily. And by the way, I'm not saying any of this is going to occur. I'm just saying if this, then that. Okay. So then you take the next one. Pretty simple. You can do this all yourself, or you can just stay subscribed to me and I'll just keep you updated almost every single day. Let me move that out a little bit and I'll move that across. So again, now we're on the daily time frame. Okay, and so the next move down would be no lower than, please and thank you, the $33.80 mark. Now, my guess is that if we do break through, that 36 and then that other one we talked about there, and if we're correcting this whole move, then you can get anywhere down to the top end and you're fine. Okay, top end anywhere down to here and you'll find that 36.80. I'd actually give precedence to the 0.382 or the 0.5. So I actually think because you've got this major level here of 34.80, yeah, you can come down here to 33 to 33.80 and that'll scare a few people because it goes, oh no, we broke through that $35, $34, we broke through resistance here. And it'll scare a bunch of people. That's where, remember they fake you out to shake you out. But I think I'm giving preference to around about there, the 35.20 or even down to that 34.50. If we are correcting a larger move, I'm not saying that we 100% are, but that would make more sense to me. We come back down to this level or this level here. That lines up really, really well. Okay, again, not saying it's happening, but just if it were to, that makes the most sense to me there. But, down to there, 33.80. Again, that'd freak a bunch of people out, fakes them out, weak hands, and then onwards and upwards you go. But what will be lovely to see is that, or particularly that. Again, not saying it's happening. What could say that it is happening is a potential bearish divergence, which we've been talking about on the daily time frame now. We've been seeing it on the hourly and the 4-hourly. It might be presenting itself on the daily as well. Wouldn't say it's 100% locked in just yet. So it's just potential where you've got a higher high on the fiat dollar price, so a high, and now we've got technically a lower high on the relative strength index, and also you have broken support right there. So it looks like for the moment, the daily RSI is actually trending down. Now, we can just find support somewhere, that's no problem. But on balance of probability, look, I'm going to give it actually more than a 50% chance. I'm going to say 60, 70% chance at this stage that we might be correcting a slightly larger move. And my preference, is there at that 35.20 or there at that 34.50. That's where I think we'd probably have the bounce. But once again, you can allow it anywhere down to that 38.80. Now, if, as some people think, that we could even go even lower, let's just do some of that. Let's just posit that. What would happen? Okay, so we'd be, if we do break below that 33.80 and it's not spikes, it's closing below, what's the next move? Okay, it's just pretty simple. You just take the next one. Where's the next major pivot point? That's right there. That's also the big one on the weekly time frame as well. Okay, so I'm not saying it's doing this, but you just got to watch out for it. So then you would take, obviously, that, and then you put it down to the 0.618 to the 0.382 there. So then that's interesting. That's at the top end there is at that 33.80, 34 kind of level. And you can get anywhere down to that. Now, this would freak people out, I think. I don't think we're going this low. I don't think we're retracing this move, but you've just got to be careful. Just in case. It would start freaking a bunch of people out if we got down to, can you imagine, $31.80? That would be faking a whole bunch of people out there. I think if it held, and it would have to hold, obviously. You've got a bunch of buyers there, and then the question would become, if you do not, again, I'm not putting fear into you here. I'm not saying any of this is happening. I'm just saying you just got to watch out. Right there, a bunch of buyers. Isn't that interesting? A bunch of buyers came in at, the 0.618. The question would be then, if they're not buying off here, where they were for, okay, on the weekly time frame, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 weeks, they're buying off $31.70. Why aren't they buying if you start closing below there? That's a big one. If you start closing below there, weekly time frames in particular, that's not good. Okay, so I don't think we get there. My belief is again, 60%, 70% chance we see maybe some lower prices, and I'm giving that sort of 35, 34, 50 kind of area the most likely scenario. Okay, so something like that one that I did just before, whatever that is, right there-ish. Yeah, that 35 to 34.50, maybe down to that 33.80, and that's pretty much it. So that's a quick silver update. And obviously, if we just crack back above 37.30, well, we'll talk about higher prices. That is silver, but it is going to, obviously, $50, $100. We're doing really well. Over the longer term, here is gold on the daily time frame, priced in USD, 3,368. So far, we are holding, not the downtrend line, but we are holding the top end of the zag zone between this high and this low right here. So as I've been saying, while we're holding above that 3,355, I think a new all-time high in gold is coming. I'll stick with it for this stage. And what would really be preferable is if we can close above between this low and this high, the 0.786. That would be quite bullish for me. So if you can close above there, I'm saying like 99% chance we make a new all-time high. While we're between here and here, I'd give it, 60-70% chance, but it's more than 50%. Okay, so I'm saying new all-time high coming, just got to hold that. And if you break that 3355, then we'll talk about lower prices. That is pretty much it. Should you be dollar cost averaging into gold anyway? Yeah, gold's going to 8,000, 10,000, possibly even more over the longer term. We're in a commodities bull market. Commodities super cycle is occurring. Anything to do with commodities, please keep an eye out, okay? When you look at them in relation to equities, S&P 500, that kind of thing, right? Let's see, that is gold. And let's take a quick look at platinum. Platinum is interesting. I do think we still are taking a pause here, but I could be 100% wrong. Platinum has been doing so well just recently, but this is what's giving me pause, that we take a bit of a pause here. Maybe this pause is actually already over. But it's the bearish divergence, which you can see on the 4-hour time frame. Platinum right now is 1,307 US dollars. We came up into this purple zone, which was the expected range that we would find some resistance at. I thought that was between 1,330 to 1,430. We've topped at 1,350. Okay, and if I draw in here for you, the new expected support range right there. And I show you on the relative strength index, price going up, price up, okay, but relative strength index going down. That's definitely been a pivot right there, and that's pivoted right there. So here's the thing. Is that move from 1,350 to 1,250, so a $100 move actually, is that $100 move? Now that's the bearish divergence done. Okay, do we not see lower prices from here? What would give me pause to think we're not going to tick over and maybe visit the top end of the zag zone, which for some reason didn't get drawn in properly. Why did that happen? There we go. For some, if we don't see this, what do I need to see in order to say, oh, okay, we're moving onwards and upwards from here? It's pretty simple. You just take the high and the most recent low, and you find its zig zone on the opposite, in the opposite direction. So I need to see it clear. So I've taken from this high and this low. That's the wrong one, Joe. Right here, this high and this low. We're actually getting close, but we're not there yet. So that's at the 0.618. See how it flips around when you take it from a high and a low instead of a low and a high. The numbers flip around. So now the expected resistance zone, which we need to get through, is between, and gee, what do you know? We're finding support pretty much exactly there. Support at the, we broke into it, so that's good. We need to hold that, so 1,290, and we need to break here at 1,315. If you can break 1,315 and hold it as support, then we'll say, oh, okay, maybe we're going to make another new interim high for platinum as well. Okay, so need to see something like that. And then, yeah, looking good for another high. What we do after there, let's take the quick big zoom out move, of course. I'd like to quickly show you all of that. Platinum, as you know, going much higher over the longer term. I'll show you the longer term Fibonacci, the levels that you would need to watch out for. Why is that high? I don't want to hide that. Why are you not working? Oh, that's why. There you go. So let me get rid of all that for you, so just so you can see it nice and clearly. Right here, it is going to be breaking the all-time high. We're going to make a new all-time high in platinum. I am 90% certain of that. I'll allow 10% for black swan events that you can't see, you know, who knows? World peace. Sure, world peace. Everyone stops fighting. And sure, maybe platinum will not be loved anymore. But there will be a case to be made for world peace where it goes, oh, well, technology is going crazy and this, that, and the other. Right? Technology and things need platinum. So probably going to a new all-time high no matter where the world is going anyway. But you've just got to allow for the black swan event. We are going to be breaking eventually 2,300 US dollars. Where we go from there, we've got some Fibonacci extensions, but we'll talk about that later. And you've just got some major levels along the way. And as you know, just on the longer term, I just want you to watch out for its major resistance levels that it has to crack through. And of course, that level right there of 1,630, that would be the big confirmer for me personally. If, when, and it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when, we do eventually crack through. Ignore the pattern, ignore what it does, right? Ignore the time frame, but when we eventually do this and hold above there, the question then becomes, okay, you've got a bunch of sellers here, lots of selling here. Once we crack through here and you start holding above it, it's like, well, why aren't the sellers selling anymore? Okay, means the buyers are stepping in, right? You don't have a lot of the sellers will get exhausted at that point, okay? And then it's just blue skies, okay, for platinum. Anyway, that was a longer version of the short thing I tried to do. Of course, my wonderful ladies and gentlemen, if you're thinking about buying precious metals, you really got to buy from Perth Bullion Exchange. If you're in Australia, that is. If you're in the States, buy from your favorite dealer. And you'll be very lucky. You know why? Because your favorite dealer in the United States or maybe somewhere else in the world, maybe they've been giving you free shipping when you buy over a certain amount since you've been stacking precious metals. Maybe you've just been used to it. Australia hasn't, and they're still not used to it. Australia never got any company, any bullion dealer, and I've worked for 3 of the major bullion dealers. None of them offered free shipping when I was with them. Perth Bullion Exchange, who launched last year, perthbullion.com.au in Western Australia. They are the first company to offer free shipping when you buy over any kind of amount. And it's not a dollar value, it's a quantity value. So this is the secret sauce. You don't have to spend $5,000. Okay, you can spend as little as 20 of the cheapest item on the website at the time. So that would, sometimes they've got 1/10 ounce silver coins. They're like $8, $8.50 in Australian dollar terms. Just buy 20 of those, or just mix and match. Buy a few of those, buy a couple of ounces, buy a bit of gold, a bit of this, bit of that. As long as there are 20 or more items in your shopping cart, instant free shipping Australia-wide. Just go to perthbullion.com.au, play around with the shopping cart and have 20 or more items total, and then you'll see the free shipping option come up in the shopping cart in the checkout procedure. So it's just amazing. perthbullion.com.au. And all this charting stuff that I do, if you want to learn to be a better investor or learn about, technical analysis foundations, okay, go to Mastering the Markets, masteringthemarkets.com. They have a 10-week course, okay, so learn Dow theory principles and technical analysis foundations. They also have a 12-month course, which I'm planning on starting to be like full on. I really want to get really deep into it and hone my skills even more. But I'm currently part of, and I really highly recommend you be a part of, Mastering Markets Academy, academy.masteringthemarkets.com. I'll put a link below to the sign up page, or you can just go to academy.masteringthemarkets.com and sign up for the free version. So you'll get a lot of free stuff. It's not all the time, but you'll get the free stuff that they post everywhere else on social media and things. But the real secret sauce here is being part of the paid subscription academy, and what you get for what you pay for. I've already, if I were paying for this, which I'm not, I'm being sponsored by Mastering the Markets, but if I were paying for this, which I was actually about to, and then I actually reached out to Mastering the Markets and said, oh, by the way, I've got this show here. I was about to pay for this. Do you want to sponsor my show? And they went, yeah, cool. So I get complimentary access to this. And I can tell you, I would still pay for this if they said, oh yeah, that's not kind of our thing doing sponsorship. I've gone, okay, cool. I'll just pay for it. I've already made more in, my trading and stuff like that, than, what it costs me per month. So I would highly recommend going over to masteringthemarkets.com and check out the academy, and really highly consider signing up. All the educator calls and all the stuff I've talked about before. At least go and sign up for the free version, see what it's like, and then you go, these guys are the real deal, and then consider signing up for a paid subscription. That is Mastering the Markets, masteringthemarkets.com. Finally, ladies and gentlemen, we do a final synchronized slurp. Let's get to it. Ready? 3, 2, 1, go. I know you miss it when I don't go live. I go live on Tuesdays and Thursdays here at Good Morning Stackers with me, Joe Main. Thanks for watching. Stay safe, stay informed, keep stacking whatever you're stacking, and I'll see you next time.